Hello everyone and welcome to the Gooner Factory. So today we will be talking about Jurrien Timber because it seems he's had an injury setback. This has got to be the most unfortunate start to an Arsenal career that I've ever seen. So we'll get into that. And also Kai Havertz, Germany's new left back. I touch on that a bit, and Ben White could be a doubt for the Brentford game. This could have a big impact on how we approach the game. And finally we heard from Fabrizio Romano. So who is the player we've already signed? So let's get into it. So, starting with Jurrien Timber. Well, there's been some worrying stories floating about in the Netherlands, which is obviously where Timber comes from, and they are saying that he won't even be available for selection for their national team at the Euros next summer. Now, that throws a massive spanner in the works because that means he's set to miss the remainder of the season. That means he's only completed one game of football for Arsenal. I mean, this alters our thinking of how bad the injury actually is, because we originally got told that Timber, he will return sort of towards the back end of the season, so we assumed we would have the player available for the Premier League run-in, when them tough games at the end of the season where every team you play just seems to play out of their skin, and they're the type of games you need to have your best players available. I do think Timber would be in our best 11, so this news is massively disappointing for everyone. The player, of course, Arsenal as well, but also the fans, because when we bought him from Ajax, we were all confident we now had enough defensive qualities to push the likes of Man City all the way for the Premier League title, because we know what happened last season. Saliba gets injured and then you're playing Rob Holding every game, and this isn't a dig at Rob, but we thought in having Timber we kind of had a bit of a leeway, so if the worst does happen and say we do lose a crucial centre back, that's alright because we have Jurrien Timber who can play there. And although I think Arteta will probably use him as left back, he's also more than comfortable playing centre back, as that's his natural position with Ajax. So then why, if he was a centre back, would Arteta buy him and play him left back? The reason is, look at how the Premier League is evolving in terms of sort of defences over the past couple of seasons, especially with Pep and Arteta. I mean, you look at Pep's backline and he almost plays four centre backs, but not sort of the old traditional centre backs that we used to associate with the word centre backs. These days they still have the size and strength, but also they are way more mobile than they used to be. I mean, you look at sort of Ake and Akanji for example, but even in terms of Arsenal, we have Ben White playing at right back, who obviously was a centre back for almost all of his career, but you can play him at right back because he has that height, he has the strength, and he has the speed, but also he can play. So I think the same will be for Jurrien Timber on the left, it seems like. And although he does lack the height, I think he's 5'10", he has the speed, he has the strength, and he knows how to defend. So with this news, do Arsenal still have the strength to push City and now it seems Liverpool in this title race? You would have to say yes. And the reason being is, I feel the main reason we couldn't keep up with City last year is because that injury to Saliba. But not only the injury to Saliba, at the same time we had tomiyasu out with injury, so that massively affected us. But if we do keep everyone fit, the back line as it stands is good enough to win the league, in my opinion. So on the topic of left backs, that brings us to the next story, and that is Germany's left back Kai Havertz. I mean, what is going on with Havertz? I mean, if we're putting a positive spin on this, we could say, what other team has a player this versatile? Havertz can play striker, left wing, right wing, centre mid, and now left back. But I mean, if we're looking at this seriously, we have to say it's slightly worrying because managers are now wondering where to play him. Look, and me looking at Havertz as a player, I can't see left back being a position that would suit him very much. I don't feel he has the bite needed to play in that position. But will Arteta follow suit and play Havertz left back? I think we can safely say, even with a Timber injury, we have enough cover at left back, and even if we lost all of our left backs, Havertz would probably be one of the last players to go into that position. So the next story will be just a quick word on Ben White. We know how before the international break, Ben White had to miss the Burnley game due to a muscle injury, I think it was. But it's now being reported that the issue he had might still be causing him problems. So he is a doubt for the Brentford game. This would be a massive miss for Arsenal, because not only would we be missing our best right back, but that means you probably have to play tomiyasu in that position. And that leads you to another point I touched on in a previous video, that if you do play tomiyasu right back, that leaves their most dangerous player, Mbeumo, on the other side against Zinchenko. Now, I know Zinchenko has played against better players, so I'm sure he does have the qualities to have a good game, but it's all about sort of minimising the chances the other team can get. And I just feel that having tomiyasu over on that side would just offer more in terms of defensive solidity. But you never know, Arteta, he may have an ace up his sleeve, and maybe he doesn't play tomiyasu left back, maybe he doesn't even play Zinchenko left back, maybe the option for him is kiwior. But hopefully with the Ben White thing we find out more at today's press conference. So finally, we're going to be talking about the player that Fabrizio Romano just said Arsenal decided to sign, and that is, of course, David Raya. So this is what Fabrizio has come out and said. Understand Arsenal have decided to seal David Raya deal in 2024. It's all guaranteed as buy option clause will be triggered for £27 million. Raya also signed potential long-term contract as Arsenal player for June 2024. All done. Brentford accepted this structure due to FFP. So what does this mean? Well, this obviously means Arsenal have signed Raya, and it would appear on a cut price deal due to FFP. So I guess you have to be happy with a price paid for a top keeper, but I think this does kind of put a nail in the coffin on the whole Ramsdale thing. I know a lot of people were still hopeful that Ramsdale would still get a chance to prove that he can be Arsenal's number one, but it just seems he either has to live with the fact that he'll be Arsenal's second choice keeper or try and get a move away. And I think either way I have mixed emotions on this signing, because I think Raya is a good keeper, but I also think Ramsdale's a good keeper, and he's probably right in feeling slightly hard done by. And I loved the emotion Ramsdale used to bring to games. He's a real fan favourite. He's always a motive in his goal. He loved playing up to the Arsenal crowd, and that's why there was such a confusion when he was replaced by Raya, because a lot of us thought we sort of had a good thing going on. But let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. The Timber injury, Kai Havertz left back, and what do you think his best position is? Ben White, do you see the game differently if he has to miss that game? And of course, Raya, are you happy we signed him? And what do you think Ramsdale will now do? Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. I really do appreciate it. And if you could quickly just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.